Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all very well this evening. Welcome to September's Amateur Series. These guys are at a wet Suzuka this evening, a very moist Suzuka this evening, for what is round one of the new style SimHound Amateur Series that we are running. Usually we do run the oNiD arms tonight, but Adam's off doing SGP things this weekend, so he's busy setting up for a show this weekend. But I am joined by the head of the AM series, Mr. Stevie Bain.
Evening, Johnny.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. These guys are in driver briefing. Tell the guys, we've changed the amateur series a little bit, haven't we? Tell the guys that are viewing what the plan is and what we're going to do going forward.
So we've went away from just having a monthly series where it was kind of 4 weeks in the month to more like the rest of our leagues at oNiD, which is a 6-weekly series. On Thursday evenings is when the amateur race is. So every Thursday for 6 weeks we'll be in the same championship and we'll all contribute to the overall at the end. We have also split it by the SGP rank, and I know that the SGP have just come out with all the licenses and things, which I'm sure we can go into a bit later because you'll know more on that than me. So we've done that too to try and limit who can sign up, because the last few months you get the occasional person slip through that we don't know what their pace is like, so that's helped. And it should be a lot better, and it means that kind of everyone will be racing against each other for a bit longer. You get to know how everyone drives, you get to build your pace up against the same drivers, and have that championship battles with people that you might not before.
And
when there was a bit of chopping and changing.
Yeah, and you've started with quite a challenging race, haven't you? Was this an Alex Parkin idea?
I think it was partly Alex and partly Win as well.
Start them off in the wet. Let's go.
Well, it's mixed chance, and I did look, and it was meant to be kind of there might be rain, there might not be rain, but as you said at the start, it looks quite wet.
It does look very wet.
Suzuka's not the easiest of tracks either, I would have said.
No, it's not an easy track for rookies at all, and I still struggle, and I'm not a rookie and I still struggle. I absolutely can't stand this track. But just throw them in the wet, really, really tough. And start as we mean to go on, I suppose. Is there many more wet rounds we can expect in the championship?
I think 4 out of the 6 have a chance of rain, but that chance will vary. Yeah. So some it might just be a little shower, some it might be pretty much guaranteed wet. Because we did always run one wet race, because you want to learn in the wet as well. But there is 2 dry races. However, I think they have their own challenges. I don't know if you saw race 3, I think?
No, I haven't seen the calendar.
It's a certain track that starts with B and ends in Athurst.
Ah, the my principality.
Yes.
You're not doing Bathurst in the wet, surely?
No. Wynn did want to run it in the wet, but he got a little bit overruled because it was just a little bit too difficult. Bathurst is difficult as it is in the dry, so we didn't want to throw that additional bit in. I think the other one is Laguna Seca. I think that's also dry, because Laguna as well is hard enough at the best of times.
Absolutely. Laguna's a really tough and challenging track. But yeah, and plus it's in the middle of the desert, so it doesn't see that much rain in real life. But no, it's good to see, and we've got a nice solid 20 tonight. Looking forward to round 1. Obviously, it's wet at the minute. And I just want to touch on something, because we usually do the oNiD arms when Adam's about, but obviously Adam's not here, and he's getting ready for Insomnia Gaming Fest this weekend, which, Stevie, you're going to be at, aren't you, with a certain Mr. Holman?
Yeah, I will be.
I will be
So
there Saturday as well, causing havoc.
I've heard.
Coming out for a co with you guys as well Saturday evening, so looking forward to that one. But you did mention it earlier, and I'm going to mention it now. So obviously SGP released an update today, and it released licenses. And as you rightly said, Stevie, I was going to talk about it, and I do know a little bit more than most on it. So yeah, licenses have come out for SGP, and it's in a similar vein to what you'd see on LFM and what you'd see on iRacing. Is you start at rookie, you build your safety rating up, you do a certain amount of races. If you hit a certain level, you go up a license. So everyone started on rookie today. Even the most experienced and quickest of esports drivers have started on rookie today, and that will build up over the next 2, 3, 4 months, and it will stay with you, and it will vary depending on how you do. How it's based on how many incidents you get per race, how safely you drive, how clean you are, and then your ranking goes alongside that as well. And then you get a rank based on, as it's been at the minute, where you finish, where you qualify, all that kind of stuff. So it all rolls into this system that SGP have built, which is different from iRacing and from LFM, which use the off the shelf kind of Elo stuff, which is really good, but SGP have done their own version of it. So it's going to take time for that all to build up. The sims available for it as well, which I like as well, because you can, every sim that's on SGP, apart from AMS2, which I'll get to in a minute, so Raceroom, Assetto Corsa, and ACC, you have a different license for each. So you don't have an overall license, so you can't go and do 3 races on ACC and 2 races on AC, and that moves you up. That's your 5 races. It builds up just for that sim you are racing. So you can have a rookie license in ACC, but you might be a pro in AC, for instance. So it's a really good thing, and AMS2 will come to that. Obviously, AMS2 is a second part of what's been going on with SGP today as well. Obviously, we had our pre-season event on Tuesday. We've been doing some incredible testing for them as well and getting it right, because obviously it was in an experimental phase and it wasn't really working, and then we've managed to get it working. So the AMS2 has moved into beta on SGP, but when that comes out of beta, because obviously it needs to build up the same amount of data to be able for it to become rankable, like all the other games are at the minute. So in a few months' time, once that's working, that comes out of beta, that will also be added to the licenses. Which I think, Stevie, the way they've gone with it is going to be really cool, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I actually just seen the little posts on Twitter, so hearing you speak about it there has actually explained quite a lot to me as well, which is, it is really cool that it's split per game too, because we did see a couple times where people were really high rank, but it was all built on AC, and then they would come into ACC
Yep.
and not be nearly as quick, but they had a rank of say 8,000, whereas the cap that we set for this is 6.5.
Exactly. So the ranking part will stay kind of the same. They'll still have a high rank, but where it will change for oNiD, and I don't know if anyone's seen in Discord, Ben Holmes asked a question of me earlier of what we were planning to do with the licenses, and my response to him was, for the rest of 2023, nothing. We're going to run things exactly how we are at the minute. We've obviously got a big Sunday championship on ACC that will take us through to the end of the year. We've got probably 2, maybe 2, 3 series of the AM series to go, and probably 2 championships on everything else we do to see us through to the end of the year. But where it stands from an only point of view is, especially for this series as well, as we are in qualifying, by the way, and it is wet. And it's going to get wetter as well. So these guys are going to have a really tough qualifying session. But just quickly, we'll finish off with this. Is next year we'll be looking, especially for the AM series, at licenses to enter the AM series. I think would be a wise move, Stevie.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously that means that it's the same if you've went LFM, you start in the rookies class. This would be our starting point for all the oNiD leagues. And yeah, building up to get your higher licenses in here. You know, you learn your racing, you learn your racecraft. We do the practice start as well, practice race. and you build up that safety rating, your kind of would it be driver rating? I'm not sure what they've called it. So you build up that, and then you can kind of go into the Sunday leagues. So I know you've got loads of plans in your little book by the side of your bed. So you'll go into whatever Johnny's dreamt up. Then it should make the racing a lot better as well, I would think.
Yeah, and I think it's from an SGP point of view, it's a good move. And I've seen some people in chat asking questions. So Habibovic, how are you, sir? Do you know if there's any other games going to be planned added to SGP? I do know things, obviously, but I can't say. Potentially, there is some stuff coming, not necessarily games, but there is new updates coming over the next few months, which will be really good, so keep an eye out for that. But it was a wise move from SGP to include these licenses, and it then makes, I suppose, our lives as organisers and me as an owner, it makes you rethink how you run things. And like you just said, you know, the starter point, if you are new to ACC, is you go to the AM series. Which it might be your rookie and your beginner's licenses, and then then you can move on to Tuesdays where we can have it kind of like 2 or 3 licenses that cover a Tuesdays, and then if you want to get into the Sunday, which is our main event, you have to be a certain license level, which is really good. Makes us think about how we structure things, and so 2024 is going to be well interesting. I'm going to have my book's going to be bulging full of plans. By the side of my bed, and it's a way we can make it work and make it really accessible for everyone to come and race with oNiD, which is the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say as well. You mentioned, you build your license up to be in the main split, but oNiD's always been inclusive of everyone.
Absolutely.
And it will stay like that, I'm sure. Would never want to exclude anyone from racing, as long as, obviously, you are nice and clean and you play by the rules, and that's it. It doesn't matter if you're 5-6 seconds off the pace.
No, absolutely.
Everyone starts somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And the point I was making was on Sundays, anyway, once you've done it, Sundays we might put into splits. We might have 3 splits again. So if you are a rookie or a beginner or an amateur, you're going to be in a split with people that have got that license as well. And it does mean that then, like, the top split on a Sunday, Miss Stevie, we will never see.
No, definitely not. I mean, I crash into people far too often, and I might not be able to commentate on this because I'll be in it. In the rookies, my rookie license. But yeah, we'll see how that goes, but no, it might give you more admins and things to look after the Sundays if no one can get in it.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's a good point. Yeah, that'll just be 10 people that have got a black license, like the ultra. That's it. Everyone else can't race. But no, it's going to be really good. It'll be really good, and I'm looking forward to it. And I've already started planning for 2024 and getting some ideas in my head. So. That the admins don't know about yet, and I don't know if they're going to want to know about it either.
I'm all good.
So yeah, that's the plan going forward. But for now, go and do your racing, go and get your licenses, and then we'll see where it goes in 2024. But it's a good update. I'm looking forward to it. But Stevie, qualifying's well underway. Track has just gone to damp. We've seen Braga is currently leading the way with a 2:09. We've been following the new voice of oNiD, Mr. Aidan Howard, who's snuck into the AM series. We've been following him around. He should do well in this series, I would think.
Yeah, definitely. I think he'll do well. But I think there's other drivers as well that'll give him a good run for his money. We've seen the likes of Wacker be right up the front, Farrell as well, Grant, quick Remco Torn as well. I definitely don't think he's going to be short of competition.
No, it'll be good. And I know he's got some LFM wins under his belt in the last few weeks. So he's been working closely with Dan Hearn as well as he comes into the pits. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. Like you said, we've got some names. We've got last month's glove winner, Max Farrell, in the Ferrari this time around. I believe he was in the BMW, wasn't he, last season?
Yeah, I think so. So it's something slightly different, trying, but I've often thought that a lot of the BMW drivers have switched to the Ferrari. We've seen quite a few people that kind of drove that before the Ferrari came out. No, he likes Leighton Austin. He was always in the BMW, and then it's been kind of tossed to the side now. But I've got a new toy. I can't think of any other names off the top of my head. But the Ferrari definitely seems to be one of the most popular choices of cars at the moment. Although it is good to see in this league that you look up and down the timing ladder and there's a variety.
Yeah, there is a good variety. Obviously, we've got Braga who's leading the way in the McLaren, and obviously, Stevie, we did the POSPER 24, didn't we, at the weekend, and it was just a Macca fest, wasn't it?
It was. At one point, I think it was the top 17 bar one Porsche were all McLarens.
Ugh.
It was like a multi-class race.
It was McLaren Cup versus everyone else.
Yeah. I think, were we not sitting 20... I think we were 22nd, and we were the third car that wasn't a McLaren.
Yes,
at one point.
Absolutely.
Which is... It's insane.
Yeah.
But the McLaren's just ridiculous round Spa.
Yeah, it is, and we saw it, and we were in. The Aston's not the greatest. It's a good endurance car, as I call it, but we couldn't get anywhere near the McLarens. Absolutely nowhere near. Dan Hearn's right. It was just a Macca 24. It was like that, but it's strong and it's very stable. I found as well. I did the 6 hours of Valencia with Matt in it, and even a chimp-like figure like me could drive it. So it's good. It's a good. It's a good starting point for these guys. But it's nice to see someone out in the Porsche, wherever he is.
There's two. There's three.
There's three Porsches. Someone out in the Lamborghini as well. Kiri Bocci in the Lamborghini. I know you've driven that, haven't you, Stevie, for Cam Sport?
Yeah, I did, and I drove it myself since the update came out, but I've kind of went off it a little bit. I found that it's a great car, but the moment you start getting a little bit sideways, you can't seem to correct it. And you've seen my driving.
Yep.
It's not very... there's a small lack of precision, you would say. And yeah, it was, as I say, it was fantastic when you got the lap dialed, but sometimes ended up in the wall. So I've kind of swayed away, and I don't know what to drive now, to be honest.
Well, I'm hitting up the BMW for the Ultimate Team Series for the end of the year. Me and Willie Black are hitting up the BMW.
I was never a fan of the BMW. Don't know what it is. I've tried the Ferrari. I tried that in the last Tuesday league. Then I didn't mind it. I tried the Porsche in the special event last month for the AMS. It was me and Darren Eaton was driving it, but it was kind of wet like this, and I was on slick tires, so I don't really think I gave it the best of goes. And I don't really want to be a sheep and go into McLaren.
yeah. Everyone does seem to love that McLaren. But interesting, you just actually touched on that, and it's something we should touch on as well. These guys are going to be in damp conditions. Now, the white rim on that Lamborghini suggests to me that driver is on wets. Would you be going wets or dries?
Looking at it, looking at the times they're doing, I would probably go wets for qualifying. But if it was the race and it was like this and it was due to dry up, I know it's saying that it's getting wetter, but this would be prime territory to just hope for the best on dries. It'd be interesting to see tire temperatures of these guys on the wets and see if they're overheating them, because it's that sort of weather that you go out in the wets and they get really hot, and then you get less grip anyway, or you go out in the dries and obviously it's slick tyres on a wet track, it's going to be difficult. But
Yeah, we'll have to see what they choose and what it ends up being in the race. Obviously, there is mixed variability during this race, so we don't know what we're going to get. It's down to the Kunos gods. Graham Jackson, Mr. DJ himself, knocking around in a Porsche, and quite a nice liveried Porsche, that one as well. Quite a lot. Look at that one.
I can't see it yet because I didn't download all the liveries.
Ah, but I could do this for you, couldn't I?
Oh, you could.
There you go.
Let's see.
There you go. Now you can see DJ's lovely Porsche.
Oh, that is nice. I like that.
Yeah, it's a really nice looking Porsche, that one. And he's down in a respectable 12th position. Currently not improving, but let's go and check on someone that is improving. Matt Keys then in the Tagger Vodafone McLaren is currently up nearly half a second on his lap, loses a little bit of time coming through the Degnas, but then heading up to this is a really tricky corner, isn't it? This hairpin. If you miss your braking, you lose no end of time.
Yeah, well, your co-commentator that's usually here has very fond memories of me missing my braking point in that corner and then having to stamp on the throttle to make sure I didn't T-bone him. Oof. And I ended up in the wall on the other side, which he then burst out laughing at. Which I don't blame him for.
Doesn't sound like Adam at all, does it?
No, but yeah, you come off the flat out right, and then you've got to hit the brakes and kind of stabilize the car while you're still slightly turning. And you're right, if you do miss your braking point, it's not so bad if you're not behind another car, because you can run wide and take a really wide time and you just lose, or take a really wide line and you lose time. But if there's a car in front of you, then you've got some major avoiding action to do.
Yeah, Matt Keys just runs a little bit wide. We have got a new fastest lap of a 2:07.5. Sam Grant is currently 6/7 tenths upon his lap as well. Won't be enough to trouble Braga then in first. But a 2:07.5 in these conditions, that is a pretty quick lap.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be drying up a little bit. I mean, we saw the track. Oh, as I say that, it flicks from a damp to wet track.
Yeah, so, it does. Yeah, literally.
Thank you, ACC. I think it maybe was drying up, but now it's getting a little bit wetter again. So,
and Sam Grant's absolutely on a flyer. Although I can never tell if I can trust the race control Delta. Going to cross the line. Wait till it comes across the line and does bring that gap down to half a second then with a 2:08 flat. That's not a bad time at all. And like you said, that was the track was damp when he started that lap and flicked to wet halfway through it.
Yeah, so he's going to get one more lap in. He just crossed the line before the timer ticked over. But now everyone will be on their last laps, and I'm seeing some people with invalidated laps, which is unfortunate. But Grant still out. Bocky in the Lamborghini is still out. Kimetto as well. But the Braga's in the pits, Howard's in the pits, Caruena's in the pits, so they're not going to improve any.
No, we're just on board with Claudio Godoy, who was 1.3 seconds up, and then has unfortunately got rid of that lap, going wide at 130R, which is very, very easy to do in these conditions. But that would have jumped them up really quite up to, into the top four, but that's going to be in a bail on that lap. No one else really improving apart from Chris Wacker, who is a couple of tenths up. As he comes around, then he's going to cross the line and probably just jump one position and go 12th. 13th, because he just dipped down to 14th before crossing the line then. So these guys then, it is going to... So that's interesting. So Stevie, go through the format first. So what is this first race all about?
So this first race is just a little bit of practice, because a lot of the time you can spend hours and hours and hours in practice lobbies and in hot lap sessions and even against AI doing race starts. But when you get into your races and your leagues, you've got one chance at the start and that's it. So I can't remember who it was that came up with the idea. I don't know if it was maybe Daniel or Alex that came up with the idea to run a practice race. So this is just a little 8-minute race just to practice their start from where they're going to be starting the main race from. Get used to everything, learn what not to do, learn what to do. And but in the end of the day, it doesn't count towards a championship at all. The points get voided out of it. And if, it means that if anyone makes a little mistake, it's not going to ruin their races. It's not going to ruin the other people's races. So it's that kind of easy learning ground on how to start on an ACC race.
Yeah, and it's a really good move, and I've praised it for the last couple of months. I think it's a really good thing that you guys have all come in and made this idea of having this little practice race, and it's really, really good. And yeah, like you said, gives these guys a really good chance to get used to the flying into turn one at full chat, and being around other cars, because it can be daunting as well if it's your first race. I know there's a couple of guys that said that it was actually their first race. On ACC, and certainly with this community as well. So it's a good way to get them used to driving around everyone. There is quite a few people in chat. I'm just going to say a few hellos. We've got Mercy Caller in there, Sam Page. Unfortunately not racing tonight. He was not very well. He had to bail out of pool quite early last night because he's not feeling too great. But I hope you're feeling better, mate. We've got Habibovic here, Dan Hearn's here, Dexter Morgan's here, Bo Lamberts is here, Matthew Caruna, he's in the race as well. He's popped in and said hello. So it's good to see so many people in chat. Princess JT's here. Ben's been here. He'll be racing in the Clubmans. If you want to go and check out what he's doing, he's on his Twitch channel. If you want to go and give him a watch. Alex Parkin's knocking around as well. So good amount of people in chat. Good to see you all as these guys then get ready to start this first 8-minute race. Interestingly, the track is green. That's going to make a big difference. It makes a big difference for turn one, and how their braking point is going to be massively different. They're going to be used to braking in the wet as well. So these guys are going to have a lot to deal with. Rain coming in 30 minutes, but it is only an 8-minute race. This one is for no points, but it is for experience and getting used to driving. So you see them nice two lines heading down towards the start of the race, and it is green. Braga makes a good start as you see all the cars fan out as they look to make a move. As they go then into turn one, you see Braga round the Grant round the outside even makes a great start. Can he hold it? Braga's back at the inside. And looks good side-by-side racing. Grant's going to have the inside. Braga's going to have the inside for the next part of the S's. Side-by-side for the S's. Not one of them wanting to yield. Samson's going to have the inside again. Whoa. And then Braga finally gets his nose in front. But that was a fantastic start for the two at the front. What a bit of racing that was.
Yeah, really good. Grant doing a fantastic job to hang it round the outside of turn 1 and 2 to even get himself in a position in the S's. But fortunately, it's difficult to go side by side through the S's and come out on top. So, but fantastic to see in an amateurs race just how clean that start was. There was a little bit of an instance at the back, as we're seeing Dominic unfortunately end up in the gravel at Degner 2.
Yeah,
you'll get that turned round and rejoined, but
yeah, I think it was Chris Wacker who had the early incident. As you see, he's not having the best of times. I don't know what's happened to Chris Wacker, but he's off shot somewhere. Dominic's having an absolute mare trying to get off the gravel. He's spun, but he's back round and racing. So a few early incidents, but we'll go back to the front as Braga then has managed to pull out about 6/10 from Sam Grant. But these two looking to really go for it.
Thing we won't have seen as well is because of the practice and the qualifying was wet, none of these drivers will know what each other's pace is like in the dry, unless they've been in the practice server beforehand with each other. So Sam misses his braking point, goes straight on, manages to rejoin over the AstroTurf and back into position without losing too much. But I would think that's probably a track limit warning as well.
I would think so, yeah. Not that he didn't look like he gained too much time, but probably a track limit warning there. But that has brought Bocci and Howard into the mix then. Top four, real close together, only about, from first to fourth, only about a second and a half between them. So really good battle at the front. And like you said, Aiden, very quick driver, but he's going to have some absolute challenges along the way this season. As these front four seem to get a nice little gap. We have had some more incidents. Dominic has had some more incidents. As we see Leo Mason as well having an incident.
And yeah, I can imagine that's going into turn 1. You're going into it quite quickly, although there's a bit of damage on the front of that McLaren. So maybe had an incident already, or came in contact with another car. But really easy to lose the back end into turn 1, and then you run wide. You get on that sort of astroturfy looking stuff, and it just makes it 10 times worse. So.
Yeah, badly damaged McLaren, but 8 minutes, he'll get that fixed, and it's not going to affect the race result too much. But Aiden Howard then is right on the tail of Bocci in that Lamborghini, only half a second between them. Obviously, Aiden didn't load his livery correctly. Tut tut. You should know better.
I know. It looks like it should have been a nice one as well. By the RM Pennzoil Maca Aiden.
Yeah, I reckon it is a really nice one, but it obviously hasn't put it into the relevant series. But yeah, nice glossy black finish, as you see, getting really close now to that Lamborghini in front of him. Looking down the order a little bit, Fraser Hall. He's in an Audi. We have an Audi in the race. Look at that as people are going into the pits. Nice to see an Audi in the race.
Yeah, Fraser always has been in the Audi. He's always liked it. I think he maybe changed last month into something else, but has decided I wasn't doing him. Is back in the Audi, but I know he also had a livery and was hoping that it was uploaded. So I don't know if there's been a little bit of a mistake with it as well, because obviously that hasn't loaded in either. He's up into second now as some of the drivers pit. So, although it is an 8-minute race, we have left the pit stop in, and it means that drivers also get a little bit of practice of going into the pit lane, because as you can see, Remco Torn has an SG30, which will be from speeding into the pits, and that will ruin your race.
Oh, absolutely. Stop-go 30s. Drive-through, not so bad here, but stop-go 30 will absolutely ruin your race if you are up that top end of the field as well, or if you're battling other cars around you. And trying to do the jump on them in the pits. Unfortunately, if you get one of them, that might as well be race over. But yeah, as you can see, the top 7 haven't taken their pits yet, so it's hard to judge really who is leading the race. We know Braga is early, and he was out in the lead early, so he is leading. But Hall, Lakshman, Arneman, Rowan, Jackson, Conradi all have to wait and do their pit stops and see where they all come out. But like you said, another EC, Dean Smith, never stop go 30 as well. So like you said, good time to practice these things and eradicate it from the race.
Yeah, definitely. I was away to say person who'd lost a lot of time was Grant, because he was showing in 10th place, but it's jumped back up. So I know Suzuka's a little bit funny with the crossover and timings. So if you do see a driver that's out of place, it might just be that they need to cross the next split line and then it'll reshuffle. But so Sam Grant is our current provisional leader, you could say, leader of the ones who have pitted. Although we're seeing the P coming up next to first and second, so Braga is now in the pits, and they are in for, and just a way to check what the pit rules are, they need to only take fuel, so it's just fuel, so they can take a litre if they need. And that's it.
Yeah, quite a few cars, as you can see, are in the pits. So nice to see they're doing that practice. A few dings on cars, look like they've been in the wars already. The front of DJ's car looks a bit scuffed up, doesn't it? And the back.
On the back, which aye, a few wars going on, I think. But I think it's the good time to get them out the way.
Yes.
So it looks like Braga has remained in the lead, with Sam Grant in second, and Fraser Hall has actually jumped up to third, by the looks of it. So It must have put in a good few laps, although that
Oh, sniped
they
him.
held it. He's
He's
held
held
it.
it. He has held it. Good effort, sir. Let's go back and have a look at that. That was quite incredible. Let's see if we can get it from his onboard as well. Oh, look at that. Look. Oh. Well held, sir.
That was well held. That is cold tires straight out of the pits onto a green track.
Absolutely
But,
it is. Yeah.
yeah, well held and still in third.
Yeah, great effort. But he has got Bocci then in chase. Aiden's dropped down to 7th after the pits. Graham Jackson's up to 9th, even with that badly damaged Porsche car. But these guys have got the first onto the last lap, and they're just going to get this first 8-minute practice out of the way before we head into the big race. Is it 45 minutes, Stevie?
It is 45 minutes, unless something's changed. Yes, 45 minutes with a 1 pit stop. And the pit window of 10 minutes as well. So they've got to pit in the middle of the race.
Good stuff then. As you see, Braga then is going to come across the line to win this first practice race. Going to do so. He looked fairly comfortable as well. I wonder if it'd be that comfortable for him in the race, because he's going to have the likes of Grant, Aiden Howard all around him, and Hall as well. If he can get that pit stop right, he'll be up and about as well.
We still don't know what the weather's going to be.
We don't.
We've had a fully dry race this time, but as you can see, the rain would have come down if this was the long race. And with a pit window of only 10 minutes, that could throw things into the mix. You know, if the rain comes in and it's, say, it starts 10 minutes into the race, are drivers going to try and eke it out to the pit window so they only do 1 pit stop? Or are they going to dive in early, get the wet tyres, and do their mandatory pit stop after? It's going to throw a little bit of strategy into the mix.
He is absolutely. These three having a right old ding-dong just before the final few corners. And is that a Ferrari that's just covered in flames?
I wasn't sure if it's flames or chips.
Yeah, it reminded me of your battered Porsche.
Yeah, that'll be getting rolled out the garage again for Tuesday nights.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. We'll maybe have to ask.
Absolutely.
Not
so
sure.
While we wait for the next race to tick over, I am going to quickly flick you guys onto a break, and I will be back shortly. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. So while we're waiting for this 45-minute race to start in this SimHound AM series, I just wanted to have a little a little bit of a chat about what's coming up in oNiD. And as you can see on screen, we do have the Ultimate Team Championship starting with the pre-season race this Sunday. All teams need to be in by Saturday. If you do want to get a team in, I think there's 4 spots left, maybe 5. Get your team in. There's going to be over 40 cars on track each week, 12 rounds. Teams of 2. There's going to be 8 team rounds and then 4 single driver rounds split into 2 splits. So there's plenty of racing to be had. It's going to see us all the way up until Christmas, and then we'll declare the Ultimate Team Championship. And I know Pulse are going to be looking for that championship to finish their year off as well. And I know there's a few teams that are looking to take it off them as well. LFM are in there with Johnny Seville. And Fred's also in there, Fred Forsberg, if you guys know him. So, they'll be looking to take that championship away from Pulse. Pulse have been dominant on Sundays this year. So, but obviously with the loss of Johnny Seville going to LFM, how things might change. So if you do want to get involved, head over to SGP. And then we will go from there, get yourself signed up. And like I said, sign-ups close on Saturday morning. And then all teams that are incomplete will be removed. And then we'll have our final grid. Like I said, I think it's going to be about 42 cars, which will be absolutely incredible. But we'll head you guys back to the stream any second now. We've got a 45-minute race. And Stevie, something incredible has happened.
Has it?
It has. Something incredible has happened. We've got rain coming in 30 minutes.
Yeah, so that is going to be pretty much bang on the pit window. The pit window is going to open at, now let me do maths, 22, nope.
Nope.
90, about 18 minutes in. That'll be close enough. So the pit window is going to open 18 minutes in. It'll close at about 28 minutes, which might be just before the rain.
Yes, so, that's going to be a cool and a half, isn't it?
Yeah, the thing with ACC is that it shows you that it's going to rain in 30 minutes, but the rain could be starting in 11 minutes' time.
That is true.
So it will be at some point between the 10-minute and the 30-minute mark. So we will keep an eye on it.
If anyone had their ACC Drive open, that'd be great. If you could feed back to us, because ACC Drive tells you exactly when it's coming.
I think it needs to, although I just noticed it's just flicked the heavier rain in 30 minutes.
Oh, so that means
so it will
definitely rain within the next 20 minutes, do you reckon?
I think so, yeah. I think so. So it might line up perfectly with the pit window. It might just be a few minutes either side. Going to be interesting.
It's going to be very, very interesting. It's almost scary. These guys are going to have to make some really, really interesting decisions.
Yeah, I know you've not watched it. I've seen a McLaren on the grass already. That's not where you should be. I know you don't watch F1, but we've had some very interesting races recently with the rain coming in. Zandvoort was one that it was wet and then it was dry and then it chucked it down wet. So let's hope forget a race that's exciting as that, as it's just flicked. It's going to start in 10 minutes.
Oh, that makes things even more interesting because they're definitely going to have to do some wet running on dry tyres.
Yeah.
Surely no one's gambled on wet.
Nah, I wouldn't have thought so. They would be destroyed by the time it started raining.
Yeah, so that's going to be a really tough call.
Yeah, if it showed it was going to rain in 10 minutes, maybe. But even still, we are on the pit straight. We're away to go green. Yeah.
Braga versus Grant, and you got Howard and Bocci behind as well. And Bocci's got a nice little jump on Howard by the looks of it as well. So I have to see what goes as they come towards the line, waiting to go green. It does go green. There we go. And Braga's got an absolute storming start as well. It's held the inside. Bocci's made a good start as well, looking to get involved in the fight. He's going to look to go around the outside in between Grant and Braga, but he's not got it this time. Grant hasn't managed to grab the outside like he did last time around, and Braga gets away. Bocce and Grant going side by side then through the S's, but Grant gets it covered off. A little bit of touch in the background. Don't see any yellow flags yet, so everyone seems to be through fairly cleanly. Sam Grant then second, Braga first, Aidan Howard is down in fourth. A good start from the front four.
Yeah, it is good, nice clean start as well from the looks of it from everyone, it seems.
Yeah, I haven't seen one yellow flag out yet.
Which is fantastic. It's what we want to see, and we've definitely seen it's what this practice start eradicates as well. We do the practice start, there's maybe a few crashes in that.
Bocce up the inside, then is he going to get this done? He's got Aidan coming through as well. Sam Grant's going to get a really good drive out of that corner, and they're side by side, and Grant just holds on. Whew, I thought he was going to have the inside then, but we do have yellow flags out. I've just noticed Graham Jackson's been involved. Oh, that Porsche looks banged up again.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
That is.
Let's go and have a look.
Good.
What happened? Looks like DJ lost it a little bit coming out of Degner 2. Managed to hold on to it. And look at the McLaren, number 3 McLaren, absolutely sent it. Got on the grass, brakes don't work on the grass, it's not iRacing, and has absolutely destroyed DJ there, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and that's what we were saying in the first race, wasn't it? That if you have that little mistake through the kink right before the hairpin, and you miss your braking point, and there's a car in front of you, you've got to do a lot to try and avoid them. And it looked like he did try get through the gap, but unfortunately that gap closed or wasn't big enough, and there was contact. But we have live stewarding for the second race. We don't do it in the first race because it's just a practice race, and obviously it doesn't count towards anything. The second race we do have live stewarding, and we'll see if there's a penalty to come from it as well. So it's just an incentive for drivers to race cleanly, even though it's an amateur's race. But it's also, if you make a mistake or you don't know what you did wrong, then you can look back through the incident sheets and see why you got a penalty. So it gives that little bit of learning back to the drivers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're looking back from Claudio Godoy's then Ferrari with a nice little train behind him. That train behind him coming down the main straight was really interesting. I think they were 3 wide at one point.
That's not what you want going into an almost flat-out right-hander at the end of it.
No, they all kind of shuffled in line in the end, but I thought it was going to be a little bit chaotic. As you see Braga, and then he's actually got that gap out to 3 seconds from Sam Grant and looks very much in control, but obviously anything can change. By the way, I've just noticed that his name is Lunatic Braga. I love it. What a name.
That is nice. Yeah, racing for Braga Racing as well.
Brilliant.
Do you think he's got a brother or a sister that's sensible Braga?
Yeah.
Or
normal Braga, no?
Yeah. Placid Braga.
But yeah, a nice gap then, as we see Kimeto's just been waved a yellow flag. I don't know what's happened there. Looks like he's at the Casio triangle. Let's see if we can go and grab a quick replay of what happened. Gets on the grass, has to bail out. Does well to actually take to the grass and then into the runoff and not take any other cars. But that means that Kimeto is down in 13th, but rejoins fairly safely. Leo Mason with a 5-second penalty. One of the first penalties handed out for today.
Yeah, that was for running into the back of number 16, just being late on the brakes.
Running into the back of number 16, that was Dominic as well, who didn't have the best of pre-race races. But Aidan Howard then, look at this. I noticed Bocce's managed to get up in front of Sam Grant as well. So now Bocce's up into second, Sam Grant's dropped to third, and now Sam Grant is under pressure from Aidan Howard in that number 96 McLaren. The gap was really close just before they came into the Degners, so through the S's, and that would suggest that the McLaren is quite strong. Oh, as we see, Aidan gets a bit of a slide on, touches the grass. I've absolutely sniped him.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to watch. He's managed to rejoin quite quickly in all things considered, but that has dropped them right down to somewhere
11th.
around 12th,
11th,
11th.
yeah. And that's payback for all the times that Aiden does replays and catches me on stream doing silly crashes. Aiden, I would apologise, but I'm not going to. But it's unlucky for Aiden. He was in a really good position chasing Sam Grant, but will have to work his way back through the pack now. As we go on board with Fraser Hall in the Space Invaders Audi, the only Audi on the grid. As Stevie mentioned earlier on, seems to like the Audi, has raced it in the series before. And he's only 0.4 behind Claudio then, up in 4th. So, good little battle coming along here. Track is green still as well. Are we expecting rain fairly soon? Within the next few minutes, I would think.
Yeah, well, it ticked over just as they were way across the line, and we've had 7 minutes of racing so far, 7.5 minutes. So looking like about 2.5, 3 minutes before it starts raining. It is going to be light as Fraser Hall gets it very sideways and holds it again. Lovely save.
It's a great save.
Yeah, it's gonna. So we were saying it was going to start raining in about 10 minutes time, and the pit window's not going to open for another 8 minutes after that. So it's going to be with only fuel required in the pit stop. If you are going to change tires, and you take an early pit stop, change tires, and then you've still got your mandatory pit stop to do in the pit window, it will be shorter than if you had to change tires in the pit window, so it could lead to a little bit of strategy. I'll go and have a look and see how long a pit stop for fuel takes.
Yeah.
And that might give us a bit of insight into it.
Yeah, well, so while Stevie's doing that, we're going to go to this battle then with Chris Wacker, who's currently chasing down Claudia Godoy, who's just actually from 4th, lost a few positions, got on the grass, has dropped down to 6th, so that has promoted Hall then up into 4th. As you see, Wacker then get right on the tail of that Ferrari, not going to outbrake the Ferrari, even though the BMW is fantastic on the brakes. Not going to get it done this time around, but Wacker's had a better start to this race, up in 7th and really battling, and has got a great battle on with then Claudio Godoy and Caruana as well up in the Porsche up in 5th. Really tricky to follow another car through 130R, especially when Godoy gets right up on the grass, manages to hold it, but then Wacker sees the danger, backs off a little bit, but it's very strong going through the Casio Triangle. As you can see, Caruana then had a little bit of an issue as well, and Wacker's going to try and make the most of it as he goes at the inside of Godoy. And a bad run from Caruana as well, so they're going 3 wide across the line.
Whoa, who's going to bail out? Who's going to be brave into turn 1?
Wacker!
3 maybe?
Oh!
That was a touch.
It's
the smallest of touches and still going.
Yeah, as you see the Ferrari get into the side of Wacker, trying to hold it around the outside. Godoy then is dropping backwards after that incident, then up at the hairpin and has dropped down now to 6th position, and Wacker's come from 7th to 5th in a matter of 2 corners. Great job from Chris Wacker there.
Yeah, I tell you, I know there was door banging, but that was a fantastic bit of racing.
It was very good.
3 wide going into turn 1. Yeah, there was a bit of door banging, but everyone's made it through as the rain has started.
Wow.
The rain has just started coming down, and it's going to be tough now. They're going to have to find...
As Godoy gets into the back of Wacker, and Caruana is involved in that as well. They're going to have to hold their brakes. They're right on the edge of Degner 2 on the exit curbs, and they both get away, and Wacker's going to get away as well as Godoy flashes the lights. But I don't think he can flash the lights. I think that might have been on him. I'll have to wait and see what the stewards say about that, as we see that Lakshman has also got a 15-second penalty down in 14th as well. But Wacker then and Godoy down in 13th and 14th respectively. But that's going to be big damage. Would that influence you now to go and, right, I'm going to go and get some tyres now. I think it's gone greasy. It's going to be, the curbs are going to be a bit greasy. It's going to be slidey. I've got a bit of damage. Do I go and get wets early?
Yeah, well, it's if you take a pit stop early, you still have to go in for your refuel in the pit window. You're going to lose 27.5 seconds. I know that sounds like a lot, But if you are 5 seconds a lap slower, it's only 5 laps. It's not that much time. It's 10 minutes. But that is assuming that you keep it on the road as well. You can easily lose 15, 20 seconds if you get on a curb and spin it and end up in the gravel. So, as you can see, the switch, it's getting difficult.
I'm not
Sam
sure
Grant's
whether.
the first to pit.
Yeah, I just saw Sam Grant is the first to pit. I wonder if Wacker was doing a little bit of a dummy, just to try and sell Godoy into a pit there. But or whether it was a twitch on exit from the weather, I'm not quite sure. But like you said, Sam Grant then is the first one into the pits. Matt Keys is in the pits already. Conradi's just coming into the pits. Dominic's coming into the pits as well. So these guys are going to take that risk and change tyres. And you see that Dominic has been in a bit of bother as well. So that car looks a little bit dinked up. So good chance for him to go and get the damage fixed, change his tyres. And like you said, you got another, what, 5-6 minutes till the pit window, which is going to be open. How long is it open for? 20 minutes?
Yeah, no, it's 10 minutes. It's only open for 10 minutes.
So 10 minutes. So you're going to have 15 minutes on the wet tyres. I think that's probably a good thing. Get them up to temperature, come into the pits. A quick splash of fuel, out you go again.
Yeah.
I think it's not a bad idea.
I think they've done the right thing, as you see Fraser Hall well off the track at Spoon, is that they've come in straight away, and it's going to give them the best chance of trying to catch back up again. Whereas if you leave it a couple laps and think, oh, I can hang it out, and then you realise, no, I need to come into the pits, you've lost 10, 15 seconds on those 2 laps that you could have gained back on the wet. So you see, running wide on that curb, I don't know if I'd be doing that through.
Especially not in the Audi.
On 30R, no.
Absolutely not.
I think if you need to switch to the wets, you needed to switch to the wets.
There you go.
This lap at the latest, I think, as we see Bocci and Hall come in. Braga stayed out, interestingly. So is Arneman. Hatchman ended up off, as well as another McLaren, so they're also diving into pits.
Cometo's had a bit of an issue. I want to quickly go back and see what happened there. He was side by side with someone in the Casio triangle, and just gets turned around. I don't know if he was slightly, the car behind was put off or what was going off in front of him. But Cometo, again, at the Casio triangle, is being the wrong way around. But into the pits. Quite a few coming into the pits. Braga, though, comfortably out in the lead, a solid 16-second lead, and sliding around like Stevie Bain, but seems fairly comfortable.
Yeah, I think if you can hold it out, maybe he's put the pressures up a little bit so that they stay a little bit hotter and stay a little bit more the right shape in the wet. I know I did that in the last week's race. I ended up putting the pressures up 4 psi, as we say in Howard, off the last of the S's, and it's a touch of the wall as well.
I think it was that exit curb coming out of the S's.
It's such a tough. I hate that corner.
Yeah,
I always seem to run wide, and then you touch the grass, and I've met that barrier in the Lamborghini as well before. Last time I raced here. I'll blame Holman for it because he was in front of me at the time.
So Aiden then drops down to 7th. As you can see, a lot of people have already pitted, but they still have that one next to their name. That means they haven't taken a mandatory pit stop because it's not within the pit window. So yes, these guys have gone and changed and got tyres, and because it's raining, it's flicked to a damp track from Greasy. But they will still have to come in and get that 1 litre of fuel that they need to meet the mandatory requirement for the race. So this really, apart from Braga leading quite comfortably, we really don't know where people are going to end up and how these strategies are going to play out. So Aiden in 7th at the minute, might hang it out and be up in the top 2 before you know it. After the pit cycle, it might not work out for him, but we have got 2 people with Conradi and Dean Smith as well, both got SG30s, so they're going to have to come in 3 times instead of just the 2 that they were planning to do, which is not brilliant, is it?
No, I see Graham Jackson going off, but what we could say is obviously Bocci, Sam Grant, they both pitted for wets, so they'll be on wets now. Really, they need to be right up the front already. And by the looks of the timing tower, they're quite a bit off. Kind of
Yeah,
a lot.
quite massively off as well. You see, we just flicked a bocce there. He's actually going sideways, and Sam Grant going absolutely sideways at 1:30 as well in the background. We'll get a feel for their times as they come across the line, because I think the last lap they did was their out lap. So it'll be interesting to see, because we've got Braga doing 2:12s on the dry tyres, and Bocce's going to come across the line. And he did a 2:55 that one, so that must have been a bad lap for him. Hall did a 2:55. Must have been their out laps. First one was their in laps. This one's their out lap. That makes sense.
I suppose the difference is when Braga comes into the pits, he's going to be stationary for 30 seconds, doing a tyre change, whereas Bocce, Grant, those who have already pitted 4 tyres, are just going to be taking the 1 litre of fuel, so they're only going to be stopped for 5 seconds.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
They will catch up that 25 seconds or so in the pit stop. So it could come out, could be reasonably close still.
Could be very close indeed. Hall has made his pit strategy work, because he's got right in the mix with Bocce and Sam Grant as well. So they were right at the front. So when it all does cycle out, if he gets another good pit stop, Hall could be right in the mix for a podium. Wacker's having a really good battle again, still in 5th. Not sure if he's been in and changed his tyres actually. No, so the top 7 haven't been to pit yet.
It was a brave move on the inside of 130R. There is a bit of contact, but they're both through relatively unscathed. So as then runs on wide, and don't cut that bit too much, you will get a drive through, as he's followed the track, which is sensible.
Yeah, absolutely, very sensible. So pit window is now open. Oh, if I was Wacker, I'd have dived straight in there as it was happening, but he hasn't done so. Yeah, so the likes of Braga, Torn, Godoy, Rowan, Wacker, Howard, and Jackson all haven't done a pit stop. So we'll have to see how it all cycles out. That gap then from 7th to, as we see Howard and Jackson just jumping in the pits, so that gap is coming down to Bocce. So we'll have to see it as it all cycles out, because all these guys are now having to go in the pits. Irrespective if they've already been in to change tyres, they're going to have to go in for fuel. So the next 10 minutes are going to be crucial to where this race, the direction this race is going to take.
Yeah, although looking at the gap Braga's got out in front, it's 28 seconds that he's pulled. That is huge.
Yeah, obviously made them dry tyres work.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking, his last lap was a 2:15. The lap before that was a 2:12. And it looks like those on the wets, their last lap was a 2:10. Or a 2:09 is the quickest I've seen. So, I mean, it's only 3 seconds a lap slower, or was. Now 6 seconds a lap slower. That is fantastic pace on the dries.
It's really good pace.
Potentially set the car up a little bit for wet. Running, a little bit softer, a little bit more compliant in whatever it is. It's definitely worked. So I think Braga will still come out in the lead, as they are now in the pits. But yeah, we'll see where it comes out with Bocce and Aiden Howard, etc. when they, because Aiden was first in as well, which will be a massive advantage.
Yeah, and Bocce's just going around Spoon Curve now, so if Bocce wants to go in and pit, I think Braga's going to have this covered off. I think the battle's going to be for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. I'm pretty sure, unless Braga has a big problem or sped into the pits, I think Braga's got this pretty much covered off.
Yeah, I think so. And looking at the weather as well, it's going to be wet to the end of the race. It is going to get wetter as it goes on, but we're not going to see any pit stops back to dries or anything.
No, absolutely not. So you see Remco Torn, Claudio Godoy, John Rowan, Chris Wacker all in the pits. They're, like you said, they're going to have to stop for 30 seconds in the box. They need to do fuel and tyres. So Bocci then is really going to jump the whole lot of them and go second.
Yeah, Braga just left the pitch, and Bocci's side by side.
Yeah, but obviously Bocci's still got a pit.
Yeah, yeah. So Braga looking like they are about half a minute in front then. Even after these guys pit. That is a fantastic lead.
That is an incredible lead. I'm just trying to work out, has Braga gone back on dry tyres?
In fact, but judging how he just touched the curb there,
Yes.
I've got a feeling he might have. Let me just check how long he was in the pits. He was stopped for 35 seconds, so he has taken tyres.
But dry tyres again?
I'll have a look and see if I can see on my screen.
Because the yellow rims are dry, aren't they?
Dry tyres.
Wow, now that might be a game changer because you see Bocci's just gone into the lead. Now, if you're Bocci now, you're already on wets. You're out in front. You're clearly quicker than the guy who's in net first. For the next 5 minutes, do you just put the hammer down and try and close that gap, knowing you've got to go in the pits?
Well, the thing with Bocci as well, he's got Sam Grant a second behind him. So
Sam Grant's just going up the inside of Braga as well.
Yeah. That is a race changer. I mean, we were just saying we reckon Braga's got half a minute gap. Now, I reckon he's going to be half a minute down if he has to go back in and change on the wets.
Yeah, was it a mistake?
Was it wetter?
Yeah, the track's already wet, so it's going to get wetter as well. Whether I'm interested to see Bocci's decided no, staying out as much as they can, and look at the gap already.
He's in.
Is Braga in?
Yeah.
There you go. So that must have been a mistake from Braga as well. Must have been a mistake to go back out on dries. It can't have been a cool, or whether he was hoping it's going to stay damp for the whole race and he can get away with dry tyres, and now it's flicked over to wet, and now he's, oh my god, I've got to go and get some more tyres. But that is going to be really interesting because the likes of Braga and Grant, Arneman, Kimetto have all got to go back in the pits, but they're going to have, they're all going to only have to do a splash and dash. So Braga's really might have messed up his own race.
Definitely, he's got the it might be lunatic by name, but lunatic by nature, fitting on those dries again as well. Either that or hired the Ferrari pit crew, but I mean they've dropped, so that's down to 6th of those who's pitted. I think he will come out in 10th, looking at the gaps.
So now Bocci's in the lead. I would have stayed out and put the pedal to the metal and just gone for it. But now you've seen Braga go in the pits, I'm thinking, right, Grant's behind me now, second back, 2 seconds back. I'm going to go in this lap. I would be in straight away, get it done.
I suppose Billy's got a clear track. I can see 3 cars ahead, but they're already going up the back straight. Maybe, you've got to come in this lap or next, looking at the pit window time.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 3.5 minutes left. It's a just over 2-minute track. So it's got to be this lap or the next one. I would say, if you had a proper race engineer and everything, you would be looking at where you would come out on the track, see if you can maybe do an extra lap and come out in front of a group of cars. But fortunately, a lot of us sim racers, it's they try to do everything on the fly. You don't get that, but it looks like he's coming in.
Yeah. Oh! Oh no! Oh no!
That is a huge crash.
That is a Johnny special. Oh my god.
Yes, there.
Oh my god, I had to close my eyes. Oh my god, that is massive damage for Bocci. And if you are Sam Grant, you are laughing your way to the bank. It's really unfortunate for Bocci, but yeah, Alex Parkin, big F. Big F.
Yeah. Wow, that was huge.
That was absolutely massive. We didn't need a replay of it either. It was just a bonk. Yeah, Danny, it was a bonk. Bonnet up. Big bonk.
He's going to be kicking himself. It was just that little bit. He cut the grass on the inside. It unsettled the car a little bit, and then maybe just trying to carry that little bit too much speed in. Got on the grass on the outside, and then it wasn't even straight onto the pit wall. It was just a clip, but how it upset the car.
Unreal.
So, yeah, Sam Grant now is last to pit. Bocci, obviously, we saw in the pits. Remco Torn could be in with a shot here, though.
Yeah, I was just looking at that as you were talking there. So Remco did one pit within the pit window. So Remco is completely clear of any pit requirements. Is currently 28 seconds behind Sam. Remco's going to take the lead.
Yeah, well, I reckon. Well, my sheet says that it's 27.5 seconds for 1 litre of fuel. And I'm pretty sure that's if you nail your stop. It's going to be maybe a little bit less than that because it is wet, so the drivers on track will be going a little bit slower. But yeah, it's going to be incredibly close coming out the pits.
Really is going to be close. Bocci then is still in the pits, has dropped to 14th, 15th now. Conrad's just gone through, Karuna's just gone through, Mason's just gone through. Bocci's going to be absolutely kicking himself. Unfortunate, dropped down to 17th. Braga down to 11th with a wrong choice of tyres. This race has been completely turned on its head. 18 minutes to go. Remco Torn is chasing down. We've got Sam Grant in the pits, yet to come to a stop. We'll keep on with Sam Grant, actually, because I want to see if he goes up on the jacks and then back down again fairly shortly. But Remco is in a prime position.
He's out of the Casio Triangle already, just starting the pit straight.
Sam's just dropped.
But Remco has just went past, so Remco takes the lead.
A strong lead as well. Look at that gap. It's ever increasing. 5 seconds. 6 seconds for Remco. 6.5 seconds. Nearly 7 seconds to Godoy, who's also got past Sam Grant.
Yeah, he just went round the outside of turn 1. Just came out round, had the overspeed into turn 1 and has taken it.
Yeah, and we'll see a replay of it then. So Sam comes out of the pits and Godoy around the outside, nice and easy, and covers off going into the second part of the corner. So Torn leads the way by 6.5 seconds from Claudio Godoy, who's under pressure from Sam Grant. Fraser Hall has got a yellow flag. Oh no! Just saw that. Let's see what happened. That's really unfortunate in that Audi.
You can see the back end's wanting to step away. He's touched the outside curb. It's not been much, but hit that square edge and it's going to do a lot of damage, but he is going again.
He is going again, but he probably will have to pit for damage, and he's got Wacker right on his tailpipe then for 5th position. But Remco Torn has made this work absolutely beautifully. Gap is 6.1 seconds from Godoy, who's got a 5-second penalty to Sam Grant. Doesn't necessarily need to overtake. Can just sit behind within 5 seconds and take second.
Yeah, but 15 minutes. If you are able to overtake and have the pace on Remco Torn, it's only 7 seconds. It's what would you be? You would probably have to be about a second a lap, but it's not in the wet. That's not unachievable. So it looks like Sam Grant is right on the back, coming up the straight. Does drop off a little bit going through 130R just to be safe, but then might get a better run out.
Yeah, right back up on his side, going through the Casio Triangle. If he can get a good run, Ferrari versus Ferrari. Godoy has a bit of damage as well. Is that going to be affecting the car? And is Sam Grant going to be close enough to have a look into turn 1? Tucks in for the slipstream. Thinks about it, but then it was a they've both gone wide. Oh, Godoy's held it, but Sam Grant hasn't, and Sam spun. Oh no, get it back round, sir. He does.
That's going to promote.
Yeah, it does.
Hakimi up into 3rd now.
Hakimi is leading is it beginner class this time around? The red
Yes,
class?
it is.
So Hakimi up on the podium overall and leading that beginner class. So great run. But if you're Remco, that gap's now 8.1 seconds. Feeling a little bit more comfortable, aren't you?
Well, especially when you know that the Godoy can overtake you, and all you've got to do is stay within 5 seconds, and you still take the win. Because Godoy did get a 5 second for colliding with another car under braking, and they both ended up off the track. I think we must have missed that one. It was a while ago now, but yeah, it's not been too many penalties in this race. At least it's been quite clean. It's more been curbs that have been taking people out.
Yeah, it has been, and all mistakes to be learnt from as well. Putting the wrong tyres on, getting a bit slidey into the pit wall, and this is what this championship's for, isn't it? As well, is learning from mistakes. And but like you said, Remco Torn is really got a net 13-second lead. If you take into the account the 5-second penalty, you can afford to lose 13 seconds in the next 13 minutes, and still win the race. He might not cross the line first, but he will still win that race. And it's worked perfectly for him. So we've got Lakshman, who's had a bit of an issue. Had a yellow flag. I wonder what that was for. Oh, yeah, big spin. Again, that corner, Stevie, coming out of the S is really difficult. If you touch the grass or get wide, it will easily spin you around, won't it?
Yeah, and it's one of these corners that you can get on the power about halfway around it. So you try and get on the power as early as you can. I thought that was a way to be a...
So did I.
Very sideways in the exit curve of 130R. But yeah, you want to get on the power early. And when you do that, the front end then loses a bit of grip. And you drift wide, and you don't want to lift because lifting's obviously slower. And you try and kind of hold it, but before you know it, you've touched the grass or touched the white line with one wheel, and it just drags you in. As that is not the ideal line through turn 1 as well, but does run through the gravel and hold it, thankfully.
Yeah, doing a good job as DJ up in 10th. Solid racing from him. Had a bit of damage early on, had a few incidents, but to be back inside the top 10 has really made that strategy work. Raced with us quite some time as Graham Jackson. An all-round nice fella as well, isn't he, Stevie?
Yeah, definitely. It was good meeting him down at last year at Winter.
Yep. And, he's back again this year.
Again. Good.
Yeah, and we got to see his pretty face last night as well. Was it last night? No, night before, Tuesday. He was doing AMS2 and he decided to put his webcam on in the Discord so everyone could see him sweating around in the Lancer Cups. Good to chat. He races all kinds of things with him. He's been here a long time. He's actually been with us before it was owned, when it was just the Project Cars 2 Friday Night League. And I met him before that in OTL, so been with us 2.5 years. Great to see him doing well, really learning the craft well, and just loves racing.
Yeah, and who doesn't? Who doesn't love racing, especially when it's in a community like oNiD?
What do you want to raise?
I've as many percentage as you can give me.
You know what 100% of 0 is?
It's nothing.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. Aidan Howard then recovered back to 12, had a few incidents in this race, but has done pretty well. He's in a battle with John Rowan just ahead of him. He's half a second behind him, going through 130R. Still some battles to be had out on track. The gap between Wacker and Hall is Hall's managed to pull away by about a second, so that gap's increased. Remco Torn still leading the way by a solid 8 seconds. So he's managing that lead nicely.
Yeah, pace has been fantastic. It's a 2-minute 10.9 on that last lap. Godoy was a 2:11.3. Quickest span on track at the moment, though, Braga, a 2-minute 8.3, so 2 seconds quicker, or 2.5 seconds quicker than our leader, but down in 9th place after that mistake with the pit strategy.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. It might be enough to get him within the kind of top 7 if he can really get a shift on, but I don't think it'll be enough to get him any further than that. A mistake in the pit stop has pushed him down, and he was very strong. He looked favourable for the race as well, but unfortunately had to pit again due to being on wrong tyres. But Aidan Howard really pushing then John Rowan in an absolute battle as they come out of the S's. Is he going to have a look into Degner 1? He does. What a pass, Aidan Howard.
That was a great move. That's a really difficult corner to pass into because it's a really short braking zone and you need the run out. So, a lovely, brave move. Got it stopped on the apex. Rowan giving him the room on the apex as well. Yeah, fantastic overtake up into 11th.
Yeah, sensible racing. Both of them have been around a while. John Rowan's been around a while. Aidan's been around a while. They know what they're doing. It was good, sensible racing. Knew that the position was lost, didn't want to take out anyone in the process and ruin anyone's race, and Aidan took advantage of that and has now moved himself up to 11th. Nice little battle here. I looked at this livery earlier. What a livery this is as well. Absolutely love the pirate themed on this on Sebastian Arnemann's McLaren. It's very nice.
Yeah, it's cool. It's something different, is it, as well? It's not, it's not trying to look like a real livery or anything. It's just, I assume, it's just I fancy a pirate theme on my car. I'm going to make it pirate theme, and it looks fantastic.
It does look really good, and he's in a battle with Chris Wacker. Chris Wacker was chasing Fraser Hall for a little bit, but that gap's now 1.7, and it's brought Arnemann into the mix as well. So these guys are really battling for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Hakimi, though, I just want to go and have a look. He has been slowly catching Godoy. Godoy's got a 5-second penalty, so Hakimi's looking good for a second place on the podium.
Yeah, I think Godoy maybe made a mistake because it jumped from about 1.5 down to 7, so he maybe run wide at turn 1, as we've seen a few drivers do. Yeah, it's looking definitely good for a second, and with Grant's only 5 seconds behind Hakimi, so if he gets a shift on this last 3 laps-ish, Godoy could lose 2 places with this 5-second penalty.
Yeah, and you can see following another car, you see Godoy gets a little bit of a wiggle on going through Spoon Curve. You can see this is what the drivers will be seeing, the spray from the back of another car now in this wet conditions. You can see him pulling out of the spray as well to try and see where he's going. But Hakimi's doing a great job, and that gap is still less than a second. Pressure is really on Godoy. As Godoy goes wide, you see going through 130R, really struggling, and Hakimi is going to catch right up to the back of him as they go into the Casio Triangle. They both get it stopped in time. Hakimi probably gets a little bit of a better Casio Triangle than Godoy did, but Godoy is... that Ferrari just pulls away, doesn't it?
Yeah, I always find it tricky overtaking down the main straight on Suzuka, because you get so close in the Casio Triangle, but because you're going so slow, as we see, Hakimi mix up his braking point, run wide, but again manages to keep it pointing the right way, doesn't lose too much time. But I always find it tricky because you're going so slow, and the car in front's always going to get on the power earlier. Is this going off?
It's Kimetto.
Into the wall, Kimetto.
Yeah, just caught the end of it. Coming out of the Casio Triangle onto the start-finish straight. Gets a little bit wobbly, gets a little bit wide, and spins the car around. And doesn't look to have too much damage on that McLaren, but has got who's that behind him? I think that's a lapped Bocci. It is, yeah. So Bocci is behind him, but he's a lap down. But Hakimi, go on, Stevie.
Looked like they were away to go into the wall as well, unfortunately. Just that kind of Lambo thing, touching the curbs, and once it starts sliding, you're on the route to the barrier no matter what you do.
Yeah, Bocci, the yellow flag is out. He's back going again. So yeah, away into the wall, Lamborghini things. But Hakimi is doing a great job, and he's just keeping himself within 5 seconds, and he's going to get that second place by the looks of it.
had a man right on the back of Wacker as well at the moment.
Oh, Kometo's round again. Just noticed that. What? That looked like a big one. Degner 2. Comes out of Degner 2.
There's going to be a touch of the grass going through the kink and...
Oh, no, just lost the rear.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I wonder if that's the damage from the first one. That's unstable, made it unstable, and then coming into the corner for the first time with the damage, it's just got no downforce anymore.
No, absolutely right. It looks like there was a brief change of position. I'm going to go back and have a look at this. You see Hakimi then was going around the outside of the Casio triangle. It was really close. I think Hakimi got past briefly, but Godoy's managed to keep hold of it, coming out onto the main straight then. With only a few minutes left, 4 minutes left of this race. Hakimi doesn't have to do anything too drastic to get that second place. But I'm sure if you're in Hakimi's position and the opportunity arises for you to overtake, you're going to give it a go, aren't you?
Well, that's the thing. I know you can sit behind and you can take the penalty at the end and you'll jump up, but it's always better to take it on track, isn't it? Especially when you know that it's been streamed and you want to look back at your overtakes. You don't want to look back at going, oh well, I crossed the line and they got a penalty, so I ended up second. You want to go, I sent it down the inside of 130R and managed to overtake and got second.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to have the bragging rights at the end.
You definitely do. And talking about bragging rights, Braga, see what I did there, has made it's very, 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 very bad. I'm sorry about that.
He's here all week.
Has worked his way back up to 8th, and he's only 2/10 behind Arneman for 7th and Wacker for 6th as well. So really doing a good job. You see, Arneman's going to have a look at the inside of Chris Wacker. Probably not going to get the drive out of that corner. Wacker's going to have the inside. They are side by side. If they can stay side by side, Arneman's going to have the inside for Spoon Curve. But Braga's coming as well. He has got the inside. Can he make it work? Macca versus BMW on the brakes.
Wacker touched the grass. He's going to go very wide.
And loses both positions. So Arneman through to 6th position. Braga through to 7th. Although I can imagine that Braga's going to have a look at Arneman as well before this race is over. That'll be a good recovery for him, won't it?
Definitely. It looks like he's got the run down here. It is going to look to the inside, but...
130R.
Yeah.
Come on now.
130R. You have to be...
Braga's got a drive through. Braga's got a drive through.
Oh, no, that must have just been running slightly wide through 130R. So easy done, especially in the wet conditions, and he's going to have to take this lap. But doesn't, maybe...
I think
he's just going to run it out. You get a penalty at the end, but it will be longer than if he just took the drive through that lap.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Speaking from experience.
Kometo has had a moment. The yellow flag's out for him. Lakshman's had a moment as well. He's not had the best of days. Been struggling with the conditions in that McLaren. Maybe this is going to be a touch of the grass. It is. Big bonk into the wall and then slides it across the track and nestles it in the gravel. But still going in 13th. The leader is on the final lap. Remco Torn then comfortably 6 seconds in the lead. Doesn't have to worry too much. Can take it easy on this lap. Godoy 6 seconds back. Has a 5-second penalty. So as long as nothing drastic happens on this lap, Remco Torn has made the strategy work to his advantage. Really just kind of held out on the dry tyres until the pit window, put on the wets, and he's going to take the win as he goes a little bit wide at Spoon. Careful, Remco.
Yeah, he's gonna do another lap pause. Yeah, I think they're gonna get one more lap in. It's gonna be tight. He might slow down for the line just to make sure he's finished. But...
Little man in my ear said the leader was on the final lap.
It's gonna be close.
You think?
I think he's got 20 seconds to get to the line. He's got 22 seconds. So it definitely depends. If he wants to slow down and cross the line, he will take the win. But he might fancy a little bit of a victory tour.
It's going to be very close. 5, 4, 3, We got another lap, ladies and gentlemen. Remco fancies another lap. I certainly wouldn't have done. I'd have been slowing right down. Hall and Arneman in. Oh, big incident. Let's see what's happened here. Fraser Hall, it looks like he's been, whether he's spun it on his own, but he's taken 2 cars behind with him as well. I see Arneman gets into the side of him, and Arneman luckily gets away with it, and somehow Braga gets through as well. Braga's now doing his drive-through, so he's dropped down to 8th at the minute. Let's see if Aiden Howard's probably going to get past him as well. That'll drop him back to 9th. Akimi still, he said, trying to get them bragging rights on Godoy on this last lap.
Yeah, really unfortunately, just a little bit of a misbraking point, it looked like, and had nowhere to go but into the side. These two are pushing hard. You know, you think you would calm down a little bit. I know it's last lap, but the positions are already settled. What I am noticing is it looks like Sam Grant. Oh, was that a move? No. Sam Grant has managed to make up that couple seconds, and looks like you can see him in the background there, coming around the hairpin. Is going to take 3rd after the 5-second penalty, as it stands.
Yeah,
that's going to be close, but it could drop Godoy right off the podium.
It could indeed. Kometo yellow flag out again, but we won't go and have a look at that this time around. Remco's got a couple of cars to deal with. We've got Leo Mason and
Nilsson, who are battling for position here as well.
And it looks like Nilsson's held onto that through 130R. Remco Torn is just going to sit behind him. I don't think he's going to make... Nilsson's give the position up nicely, to be fair. Leo Mason probably not going to do the same. Bocci gets a drive through right at the end as well. Not been his day since he hit the pit wall. He's looking in a strong position. But Remco Torn then made it work and comes across your round 1 winner. Great effort from Remco Torn. Fantastic win. Godoy's going to come across the line in 2nd, but he's likely to lose that place to Hakimi and Grant. So that means Hakimi will take 2nd. Grant will take 3rd. Arneman then coming round the final corner. He's going to take 5th. Wacker 6th. Fraser Hall 7th. Great effort from these guys. Great battling from them all as well. I'm sure there might be a penalty coming at the end as well for Arneman, so we'll have to see. That might be applied post-race, so because it was right at the death. But good job from them guys. Aiden Howard in a battle with Braga, so they're going right at it at the end, and Aiden's just defending for his life. This is going to be close across the line. I think Aiden's just going to get it. He does just get it. Look at that. 8 hundredths of a second. So close. Braga in 9th. It was a good effort from both of them. John Rowan is going to come home in a solid 10th position. DJ, I think, might have run out of fuel.
That does definitely look like a car that has a...
Is that Kometo? I think he's caught the back or got caught out by DJ being slow there. Sent the car around. Lakshman as well, having another issue at the Casio Triangle. But Lakshman is going to come home 11th. Not bad considering he had all them issues during the race. Good solid finish from him.
One thing I did notice was Leo Mason came across the line just in front of the leader, meaning that technically he's still got a lap to do.
But he's in the pits.
But obviously didn't realise because he just drove straight on at turn 1. I think he thought he was finished, and I think he could have got a place because Graham Jackson's run out of petrol if he'd have carried on.
Yeah, and I think I don't think he's going to finish any lower than what he is.
No.
Because of the people that have finished around him. But yeah, certainly would have gained another position as DJ is the lowly car that's out there. He's just stopped, bless him. Absolutely stopped. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is that. What a fantastic race that was. As you can see, Godoy with his 5 seconds did end up in 4th with Sam Grant taking 3rd. Wacker Hall. Arneman actually got a 5-second penalty at the end as well, so that dropped him behind. So Wacker takes 5th, Hall takes 6th, Arneman then 7th, Aiden 8th, Braga 9th, Rowan 10th, Lakshman then in 11th, Kimetto, Kiriani, Conradi with a 132nd penalty. Managed to keep it in front of DJ, who's your man on screen, who's currently run out of fuel. Mason also didn't realise he had a lap left to do. He finishes in 16th. And Nilsson Bocci, who had a really unfortunate episode with the pit wall from a strong position, finishes 18th. Keys 19th. Smith, Dominic and Max Farrell looks to have had issues and only did finish 19 laps down. But what a race that was, Stevie. The weather has played a massive part, and I know everyone moans, oh, it's only, oh no, it's dry, ha ha ha, or wet weather again, but it produces some of the best races, in my opinion.
Yeah, it does. And obviously there was little bits of things that happened. We saw wrong tire choices being taken, that incident with the pit wall. Just every time we thought we had a winner, something happened. It was I don't think I've seen a race that's throwing more spanners into the works than that before.
No.
But it's fantastic to watch and great for us to commentate on as well.
Yeah, it has been fantastic. Brilliant racing. Well done to everyone that actually finished the race. Well done to everyone who turned up. Made round one. Absolutely beautiful. It was really good. I really enjoyed commentating on it. Just then, before we go off, remember, if you do want to pop a team in to the Ultimate Team Championship, the cut-off for teams is Saturday. Probably be Sunday morning by the time I've got back from Insomnia Gaming Fest with you beautiful boys. But yeah, we will be getting that in place. And so if you do want to get your team in, get it in quick. And we've also got AMS2 is back on Tuesday nights. It's currently full for round one on Tuesday, but if there is places come available, keep an eye out if you want to do some AMS2 fun. Got some big plans for AMS2 in the next coming months. We're going to have a Project Cards 2 revival night using some mods. We've got SGP working now, that's gone into beta, so we're going to have championships galore. Lancer Cup, we had the pre-race on Tuesday, it was fantastic. We're going to have round one this Tuesday. If places become available, please feel free to get yourselves signed up. Apart from that, Stevie, thank you for joining me in replacement of Adam this evening. It's been good fun.
Yeah, I know that you'll be very upset to get him back next week. But I'm always here if you need me. But yeah, fantastic race. I think driver of the day goes to Remco for that strategy was just perfect.
Oh, absolutely spot
as
on.
well. And yeah, that was great. And next week, Bathurst.
Oh, yes. Oh, I can't wait. The self-proclaimed King of Bathurst gets to commentate on the carnage. Absolutely can't wait. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. We will see you again next week. Say bye, Stevie.
Bye, Stevie.
See you later, guys. Thank you very much.